Okay, today I want to tell you why I, Rob Knopper, am dumb, why I'm okay with being dumb, and how that helps me in a very specific way in the practice room. Then I'm going to give you 3 tips on how you can practice more efficiently. Basically, when I was in high school, I was learning the A minor fugue by Bach. I didn't really know how to practice it. I was a sophomore in high school at that point. I got the music, I got my mallets, I closed the practice room door, and I basically just plowed through the entire piece, like 5 pages of music. Everything bad would happen. I would get lost. I would just keep plowing through and trying to get to the end of the piece. By the time I got to the end of the piece, I looked back and I said, what went wrong? Okay, well, let's see, maybe this, I think I got lost here. I have some memories of this, but then, okay, when I got to the end of the piece, I couldn't remember that many things. I sort of had relied on myself to remember all the things that went wrong, and it didn't happen. It's just like when you're trying to remember a grocery list or you're trying to remember a phone number, you tell yourself all the information and then you forget it unless you keep repeating it to yourself. When you're playing music, this happens. You're trying to remember the things that you need to work on, but they just keep popping out of your head. The reason that I am dumb, the thing that I was doing wrong, is I was relying on my brain to hold too many things at once. Once I admitted this to myself, once I decided I am going to try something else that avoids this, that's when I started seeing a lot of more effective practice and a lot more improvement at a faster rate. Okay, so today, Noah Kageyama, he is the Bulletproof musician. He's writing about this topic too, and we're doing a kind of collaboration. You should check out his blog post. It's about working memory. Basically, what I learned in a practical sense in the practice room when I was coming up as a musician and learning how to take auditions, he learned in a scientific way and a psychological way. He's a performance psychologist. So he can take that stuff and explain it using science and using studies, which is exactly what he did on today's blog. Noah and I are doing a collaboration where we're going to try to help you work through your auditions this year. We started off by making a new renovated version of my audition cheat sheet. It consists of not only the audition preparation strategies, the actual practice room stuff that you should be doing, but the mental practice and the psychological techniques that you should be starting to ingrain into your playing right now, especially if you're planning on doing summer festival or college auditions. But in the meantime, here are 3 tips to help you simplify your practice and not rely so much on keeping a lot of information in your mind at once. Tip number 1, work on smaller sections of music. Basically, if you run through a whole piece, 1 page of music, 1 line of music, 1 measure, or even 1 note, you're always going to sort of remember 3 or 4 things that went wrong about that line or that page. That's about as many as you can rely on keeping in your mind at the same time. That's why I always work on the smallest section of music that I possibly can at once, which is really 1 note. Basically, every single note is chock full of tiny details. Rhythm, placement, articulation, attack, tone, intonation, exactly where it is in the phrase. There's so much to work on about every note that you have to force yourself to address a whole bunch of those things on their own without worrying about other notes. But I'm always starting my practice by working on 1 note at a time and sort of ironing out as many details as I can before I pair it with other notes. Eventually you can zoom out and work on a whole measure and then work on a whole line, as long as you've worked on the more detailed, minute issues that have to do with note to note. The second tip is don't let yourself multitask between different activities. When you're playing in the practice room and you are playing and listening to yourself and trying to fix things, you're playing, you're looking at your instrument, you're thinking about exactly how much tension or force you're going to blow into your instrument or draw your bow across the string or push your stick into the head. You're thinking about the choreography of exactly what you're going to do. You're thinking about executing, and you're thinking about the resulting sound. You're listening and you're trying to analyze, and you're thinking about what you can do to fix it. That's a lot to worry about at once. Force yourself to separate out those 3 things. First, hit the record button and just focus on playing. Look at your instrument, think about your actual actions that you're doing with your body, your breath, your motions. You're only executing. Then you're done. Press play and listen back and think about exactly how it sounds and what could be better about it. Then press stop, and now's your analysis time, your problem solving. Think about what you did to execute it, what it sounded like and what could be better, and give yourself an idea or two exactly how you could execute it differently in order for this resulting sound to be different. You're forcing yourself to separate out those 3 activities and sort of be a superhero in each one and be the best you possibly can be as a listener, as an executor, and as a problem solver. The third tip is when you're listening back, don't listen back to everything. Separate out the elements that you're listening to at any given time. So if you're listening back and you're trying to think about rhythm and tone and pitch and all of that, you're multitasking again. What you can do to listen even more carefully is the first time you listen back, just listen to rhythm. Listen to it over and over until you find every possible note that could even be a smidge out of place, and write them all down. Again, get it out of your head so you don't have to hold it inside your working memory. Then, when you're done with that, listen back again, only for tone. Think about everything that could be better about tone and all the notes you played. Then listen back again and think about dynamic, and then phrasing, and then pitch, and then whatever else there is. There's lots of other stuff, I bet. I just can't think of them right now because I don't have a very good working memory and I'm kind of dumb, like I said at the beginning. Basically what you're doing is you're forcing yourself to distribute your attention to smaller things at any given time. If you have less to worry about, you can focus on it and do it better. That's the concept here. So if you want more tips from me and Noah, you should download our audition cheat sheet, Rob and Noah's audition cheat sheet. It'll help you get started with college auditions, summer festival auditions, and whatever you're doing and whatever music you're preparing right now. You can download that at bulletproofmusician.com/audition cheat sheet. And if you're interested in the bootcamp, I would love to work with you. We're going to be announcing that soon, so make sure you're signed up for the email list by downloading that PDF. I will see you guys in the next video where I will have Noah here to do a joint video and we're going to talk all about mental practice. I'll see you guys then.